Stop. Don't buy that Pix package or All Access. Wait, what? Yep, don't click Add to Cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking Deals in the nav at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.
Welcome on into the KBO show, another edition, and I don't know if it's the Korean baseball show or the karaoke with Brandon show, but we're here. I'm Dan Alexander alongside my guys, Adam Trigger and the aforementioned Tokyo Brandon. It's $9 Monday. We got a full slate of KBO, NPB action to talk about here on the KBO show, so without any further ado, let's get right into it. Welcome in the guys. We'll start with you, Adam. It's $9 Monday, as I mentioned. What do you have up this evening, and how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I had a nice little bounce back on Sunday. Actually, started with a KBO winner late Saturday night, and then I went 3-0 yesterday. So a little bit of an up and down week, but it finished strong. I think probably got out a little bit ahead last week. So now I've got 4 wins in a row. And my next play will be in the KBO on Tuesday morning, I guess you would say. So, yeah, I've been going for 5 straight wins. It's part of $9 Monday. It's a spot I really love. And, yeah, so check it out, $9 Monday, going for 5 straight winners overall. And that goes in the KBO first thing in the morning.
Locked and loaded. Get it while it's hot. A $9 Monday special there from Adam Trigger. Also, play loaded for Tokyo Brandon. And a little birdie told me, Tokyo Brandon, you got a 5% play loaded this evening. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, and I do have a 5% play loaded. Last 4 days, I'm 13-4, and I went 6-0 in Japanese baseball last night. So pretty much rolling right now. Looking good, and I do have a 5% play tonight in the Japanese Baseball League. It's a straight-up money line, and it's only $9 because it's $9 Monday at WagerTalk.
So you can grab that right now, and for what it's worth, mention it right at the top. Number 1 at WagerTalk is Tokyo Brandon with these 5%ers, picking him at a 76.1% clip. He's hot in Japanese baseball, so check it out on a 6-0 run. You see his pages on the screen there. So if it's your first time tuning into the KBO show, thanks for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We always start by letting you know a little standings update. We're going to get into some observations from the weekend as well, but let's get right into it. As still at the top, my SSG Landers stay on rolling, 23 wins after another series win. LG, though, starting to surge as well. 3 straight for them, 18 wins. You got Doosan, Lotte, Kiwoom, and Samsung all kind of hanging out in that 17-16 range with some losses kind of separating where they are in the standings. KT and Kia sitting at 15 wins apiece. And you got your teams at the bottom struggling to kind of find that footing. 4 straight losses for Hanwha brings them to 11-21 on the year. And in 10th place, we got the NC Dinos. It's funny, Adam, because we joked on Thursday's show about how your weekend would kind of be reliant on how the NC Dinos weekend went. And I'm hoping that you had a little bit better of a weekend outside of what the bar-brawling Dinos did. They get swept by the Twins, but all joking aside, Adam, you think there might still be some reason for a little optimism on NC? What do you got for the folks here at the top?
Well, yeah, first of all, it actually, somehow I got out of the weekend not getting absolutely crushed by that team because yesterday I had NC plus 1.5, and they did cover. So they did get me the money on Sunday, even though they lost the game. They lost 3-2. Of course, on Friday, I lost with them. I didn't bet them on Saturday, but they still found a way to hand me maybe my worst beat of the season. I had under 8.5. They kicked the ball all over the field. They made 4 errors. So a game that should have been probably 2 or 3-1 was 6-1. And then in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs, guy from NC comes up, blasts a 2-run shot to put it over by a half a run and stick me with a pretty brutal beat. But what we're going to talk about right now is NC. I said it was like put up or shut up time for them. They didn't put up because they got swept at home by LG this weekend. A complete disaster, and really just I don't even know where you go with them from here, to be perfectly honest with you. Like because it's like they got their guys back. They had a home series, and to not get one of those games and then to play as poorly as they did with just the errors and the self-inflicted wounds, you kind of just wonder what you could possibly do with NC. But Dan, I saw some futures odds for KBO. Good friend Freddie Mills. If you've been following KBO on Twitter since 2020, you definitely know who Freddie is. He said, "Can you believe NC is 100-1 to win the whole thing?" And I said, Freddie, no, I actually can't believe that. And that I do see some value in, because if you think about it, 5 teams make the playoffs in this league. Okay, so coming into play, as bad as they've been, they're only like 8 games out of 5th place. The second thing is, at some point, you're going to get Chang Mo Koo back. And if you remember 2 years ago when NC won the whole thing, I mean, he's a superstar, young talent that if he can avoid injuries going forward, he very well might end up in Major League Baseball someday. So if you're going to give me 100-1 on the Dinos, I mean, just for a little sprinkle, I'm interested in what Brandon thinks that should be priced. I would say maybe like 20-1, maybe, considering it's May and there's still a full season left and 5 teams make the playoffs. And then the playoff is in a ladder format where if you win, you get to kind of keep playing and you can build momentum. I think that's insane. So if you have a book, I know Bet365, some of the Canadian books have it, shop around. If you can find a spot that has NC Dinos at 100-1 to win the whole thing, I mean, there's worse things that you can throw a couple dollars on. That's an insane price on something that, in my opinion, should be far lower.
So the NC Dinos maybe not dead yet, according to Adam Trigger there. Now, Tokyo Brand, I'll let you respond to kind of that question that he had regarding that pricing. But the other thing is, too, we have primarily KBO that we'll be talking about on the show. But before we get into some of these deep dives, we have your featured games, some series previews. You want to talk a little NPB. So I'll give you the floor to reach back to what Adam was saying right there and get into this NBP team that you think might also be worth a little bit of a sprinkle. This is the future segment of the show. Tokyo Brandon, what do you got for the folks?
Speaking of futures, yeah, absolutely. NC won the whole thing 2 years ago. So, there's only 10 teams. So, 10-1 automatically for any team. SSG is playing so well, though, right now. But, yeah, 100-1. That's 10 times a 10-1 shot. I think that would definitely be worth a couple of shekels. So I want to talk about a future as well. I'm going to talk about in the Japanese league. The Rakuten Golden Eagles want to pour some sugar on me. Come on, fire me up, pause. Hey, in our pregame show, that was a request from Mr. Joe Ranieri himself. So I'm going to talk about the Rakuten Golden Eagles. Now, some of you, here's some chuckling there. Some of you might remember Masahiro Tanaka from the Yankees. He's still throwing, and he's still throwing really well. Listen to this rotation. I'm going to make basically, I'll just let the cat out of the bag right away. I think if you can find a futures play on Rakuten Golden Eagles to win it all, it's worth a play. My books don't have it, but if you can find books, if they're not out yet, they will have a futures play. Take the Rakuten Golden Eagles to win it all. They're playing better than anyone. They're on a 10-game winning streak. They have Masahiro Tanaka in the rotation. They've got Hayakawa, Kishi, Norimoto, Takinaka. That is an awesome rotation. And their number 3 and number 4 guys in their rotation could be the number 1 guy for any other team in Japanese baseball. They have a bona fide closer in Yuki Matsui. He's got a 1.15 ERA. He's got a 16.1 strikeout ratio per 9. and he is pissed off because they left him off the gold medal winning Olympic team. He's throwing with a vengeance, and he's throwing really well. They have the best lineup in the last 7 days, the second best lineup overall. They've got 2 bona fide sluggers in Asamura and Shimauchi. This team, they have a leadoff hitter in Nishikawa that they didn't have last year, so they're even better than last year when they came in second. This team is on a crash course for winning the whole thing, and if you can put money on it, they did have a futures out on Pinnacle about 2 weeks ago, and Rakuten was I think Rakuten was plus 750. When the futures come back out, definitely put some money on Rakuten Golden Eagles to win the whole thing, because they are definitely the best team in Japan right now.
So there you have it. Some future opportunities. Japanese baseball, Tokyo. Brandon saying look towards Rakuten in Korean baseball. Maybe just sprinkle a little bit on NC, according to Adam Trigger. So, guys, let's keep on rolling. Get right into our featured game. Today, we're going to be featuring the LG Twins as they face off against the Hanwha Eagles. This game taking place on early Tuesday morning. And both these teams, LG fresh off a sweep of NC. Hanwha, they're kind of slumping a little bit, losing 5 of their last 6 games. So you look at this, Twins money line favorite at minus 170, your total at 7.5, and decent take back if Hanwha can kind of snap out of this. Adam, for Hanwha, is this the game that they finally snap out of it, or more the same and the Twins keep on rolling?
Well, I don't know if this is the game that Hanwha snaps out of it, but I think you're insane if you lay minus 170 with LG here. Like, here's the tough part. Here's the reason Hanwha games are so tricky to handicap right now. They should be getting killed every game. Like, in theory, with the pitchers that they're missing, they should just be getting killed. But I know they lost a few over the weekend, but they really have been very scrappy. And they've been in a lot of these games, Hanwha plus 1.5. That Kia game on Sunday, I mean, the money line was big enough where you probably would have played it minus 1.5 or plus 1.5. Hanwha scraps all the way back to cover the 1.5. They lost 7-6. But, Carlos Saburo, their manager, former Milwaukee Brewers, I want to say he was bench coach or third base coach. He's been in Korea for a couple of years now. Has completely changed the culture in that clubhouse to the point where they feel like they can win, and there's definitely more of a culture of accountability now and trying to build something there where they were just a disaster, really up until last season. I think his first season was last season. So, Minho Lee goes for LG. He had one good, he was sent to the minors because he got off to a disastrous start, came out, pitched great against Samsung, and then was lackluster last time out against Doosan. So, man, I don't know. I wouldn't, Minho Lee is probably better than we've seen, but I wouldn't lay minus 170 with him. I actually think GJ Min for Hanwha might be the better starting option right now. So I would say if you're going to bet this game, I would look at Hanwha first 5. Hanwha for the plus price for the game is nice, but the plus 1.5, which probably would have made my card, is a little too expensive. I think minus 150 to play plus 1.5 is a little pricey. But man, Hanwha, they're such a wild card that I have a hard time getting involved with them. But I wouldn't be on LG here. I lean Hanwha in this matchup.
So maybe some teams that are hard to get a little bit of a read on here in our featured game. Brandon, how do you see it, shaking out? That first 5 look maybe worth something, or are you going to be laying that price with LG? How do you see this featured game breaking down for us?
So this is one of those times where Adam and I disagree. I think LG is such a good team here, and he's right. Lee Min-ho had a rough start to the season, a really rough start. But if you go to last year, I mean, the reason he's having a rough start is because he can't throw strikes, and Hanwha blew him up for 7 runs at the beginning of the season this season. But if you look at last year, he faced Hanwha 3 times. He held him to, he faced Hanwha twice. He held him to 0 runs in both starts, and he had an 11-1 strikeout to bases on balls ratio. I think he's a much better pitcher than Jang which is what Han was throwing out. Jiang he's basically a reliever. He never goes past 4 innings. And I looked at his history. He's had 2 seasons where he went over 100 innings, and in both of them he had a 1.5 plus WHIP in both of those seasons. So I think his good numbers so far this season is a bit of smoke and mirrors. And if I can get the number 1 bullpen against the worst lineup in baseball, I would go with LG here. But Adam's right. The price is pretty steep. So I would make this a very small play, maybe like a 1%, or just throw a couple shekels on it. But LG should win this game. I mean, they have the number 1 bullpen, and they're facing the worst lineup in the KBO. So they are a bit of a wild card, and for that reason, because of the steep price, make it a small play. But I would be with LG on this one.
A little bit of differing opinions here on our featured game. That's the Eagles taking on the Twins. That's our experts' thoughts. Hop in the comments below and let us know your thoughts on our featured matchup for this evening, or I guess this morning's play would be the better way to phrase it there. Let's get into our series previews, guys. Keep it on rolling. And Brandon, we'll throw it right back your way. You'd like to take a look at Doosan as they're facing off against Kiwoom. And if you just look at the standings, this should be a pretty tightly contested game. It's a half game that separates these two in the standings, but we don't look at standings alone. We go to the experts in these opinions. So the standings might say a tightly contested game and series. Is that how you see it, Brandon?
We are the champions, my friend. How's that? Where's the girl? Give me the girl.
Well, the problem is, though, Brandon, is you can't sing "We Are the Champions" without LG being in the featured matchup. You know, so we'll save that for the SSG Landers. Excuse me.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. But Doosan was the champion 3 seasons ago. And because of that, the bookmakers, for some reason, love this team. Doosan games, they always get an edge in the numbers when they don't really deserve it. So the way I'm going to break down this series, Adam and I have been saying all year long that Kiwoom is the measuring stick for mediocrity. And that's exactly what they are. Their lineup, they're actually... If you look at the numbers, though, both of these teams have pretty good bullpens. According to my rankings, and I do my rankings according to, xFIP and ERA and WHIP, and I take all those things into consideration. And I make my own rankings for bullpens and starting pitchers. I have Doosan's bullpen out of 10 teams ranked 4, and I have Kiwoom's bullpen ranked 2. That's pretty good. So when you have really good bullpens and lineups that are mediocre or worse, it tells you that you're probably going to get a lot of unders in this series. And, so far, these teams have played each other, I think, 3 times, and the average game score is 6.3. So in this series, I'm going to advise people that if you see 8s or 8.5s, to bet the unders in this series, including today. I mean, Tyler Epler is going against Lee Young-ha. Lee Young-ha is not a good pitcher. He's not very good. Epler has had some struggles, but he's actually a good pitcher if you look at his peripherals. He's got a 117 WHIP, which in the KBO is pretty incredible. So I'm going to advise people, if you see an 8 or an 8.5, to bet the under in each game this series. My book has first 5 totals, and if you see a 4, I would bet the under in that too. But for game total, like I said, these teams are averaging 6.3 runs per matchup. So good bullpen and mediocre or sub-mediocre lineups means I'm going to see a lot of unders here. So I advise people in this series to bet under 8.
So as Doosan and Kiwoom face off, maybe the under's worth a look, according to Tokyo Brandon. Adam, for your featured breakdown, your series, the KT Wiz and the Kia Tigers, and again, you just look at the standings. These are teams that are neck and neck. Both teams under 500, but a game separating the two. However, the Tigers, they've been pretty darn hot. 5 straight wins. Now, do they keep that streak kind of going as they face off against KT, or how do you see this series breaking down?
Man, it's an interesting series. So the first thing I'll point out is KT cannot catch a break in the injury department. We know about Beko Kang has been out all year. A couple weeks ago, they lose Henry Ramos. And then over the weekend, Jay Huang, who's been their DH, batting third, ends up getting hit in the hand and has to leave a game. So, but in spite of that, KT kind of just continues to battle, and they're really a scrappy team with solid pitching. So you have to sort of take that into consideration, that they can kind of overcome some of this. But if I'm going to this is one where I would wait. If you can see the lineups, obviously, if you're up at 5 a.m. to see the lineups when they put it out, and Huang is out again for KT. He didn't play on Sunday. They managed to win on Sunday with him not playing. He came in as a pinch runner. But when you get hit in the hand, I have a feeling he's going to be potentially miss another day or two with the hand injury. I mean, that really leaves a watered down lineup against a Kia team that's playing excellent right now. And, I was looking at Kia, as a potential play on spot here, but for whatever reason, the books absolutely love him for Kia. They always overprice this guy. Like they have him priced like he's just a stud pitcher every time he steps on the mound. And he's good, but he, unfortunately, I don't really want to lay minus 150 with him. So what I might hope for is that KT can kind of scrap their way to another win in the opener, because if that's the case, it looks like Yuli Lee is going to pitch Wednesday, who Brandon and I probably should start like a Yuli Lee fan club at this point, because, I mean, we just come on here and pump him up every single week. And rightfully so. I mean, he'll end up in the big league someday. He's 19 years old, lefty, phenomenal stuff. He'll be in Major League Baseball at some point. And so you're going to get him on Wednesday, potentially, if they can, if he comes, actually, even if they win, as long as you get a reasonable price on Lee on Wednesday, it's probably a decent bet, because KT will likely have Sangbek who's probably more of a reliever than a starter. So, just a couple things to think about there. And then on Thursday, let's say KT's getting, they're struggling in the series. You might get Huang back by Thursday, and you've got Youngpo Ko, who's an absolute stud and has been awesome all season for KT. So that's just, just keep an eye on that, because, this might be a series where Kia has a better matchup early on. And then come Thursday, KT might have their better bullpen guys fresh, and they'll definitely have the better starter in that game. So just some thoughts for the KT Kia series. Hopefully you can find a way to use it, to your advantage. I don't really have like a, hey, here's like a play in this series, but I think I gave you enough there where you might find one later in the week.
A great deep dive on some potential actionable info there as the KT Wiz face off against the Kia Tigers. And it's time for everybody's favorite segment on the show. It's Best Bet Time. And how's this for synergy? Because Adam just gave his thoughts on KT taking on Kia. Well, Tokyo Brandon going to go a step further and give you a best bet coming from that game on Tuesday morning action. Tokyo Brandon, remind people what you got up for $9 Monday and give them a little free best bet here as well.
Okay. Again, I have a 5% play in Japanese baseball. It's a straight up money line, and it's $9 for its $9 Monday at WagerTalk. So go ahead and grab that for $9. I have a few other plays in Asian baseball up as well, but my $5 or my 5% play is a really good one. I like it a lot. When I do my breakdowns, when I do my capping, I take about 7 categories, and if 6 out of 7 are a check mark, I'll go 5%. If 5 out of 7, I'll go 4%. This one, all 7 check marks, check the box. I love this play. So that's what I'm offering. Now, my best bet today is in the KBO. This is I put this out as a client play. It's only 3%. It's not a 5% play, but we're going to go back to what Adam was talking about in the KT and Kia series. Adam is absolutely right. I totally agree with him that Im Gi-young, the Kia starter, he gets a lot more respect from the bookmakers than maybe he deserves. But I went back and looked at him last year. In 3 starts against KT, he gave up 1 run in each start, and he had a 24-0 strikeout to bases ball ratio against KT. In other words, this guy in the last 2 full calendar years has not walked one KT batter, and he's struck out 24 of them. Granted, his numbers are not that good. He's got a 1.34 whip this season, and he's got a 1.49 whip in his career. So, yes, he is a bit overvalued. When this number came out, I was hoping it'd be like minus 130, minus 140. Unfortunately, it's not. You're going to have to pay a little bit heftier of a price. But M. Guillon, his whip is 0.92 on this season, and he's pitching worse than he was last season. So I'm on Kia for the first 5 innings today. I know it's a bit of a hefty price, and because of that hefty price, I'm knocking it down to like a 2% or a 3% play. So don't bet the farm on it, but do put a little bit of money on Kia in the first 5. Unfortunately, Kia's bullpen, both of these bullpens are terrible. I don't know who to trust after the starters come out. It could be a pinball, ching, 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 ching kind of game in the 5th, 6th, 7th innings. But in the first 5, I'm pretty confident that Kia is giving us the better lineup. Maybe not the better starting pitcher, but it's negligible. So I'm going to go with M. Guillon and his 0 walks in the last 2 years against KT, and hopefully he can have a good game today in the first 5. I'm going with Kia in the first 5.
Taking the bullpens out of the equation, going with the first 5 there, Kia Tigers money line. That's how Tokyo Brandon's attacking it. Again, check him out, $9 Monday. You should also check out Adam Trigger for $9 Monday. See their pages there. Great plays loaded, great offers on their pages as well. So make sure you check that out. And in synergy's sake, Adam broke down the KT Wiz and the Kia Tigers. Brandon broke down Doosan and Kiwoom. So Adam will close the loop there. He's got a best bet as Doosan takes on Kiwoom. Remind people what you have up, Adam, and what's your best bet this evening?
Yeah, that was unplanned too. We just kind of showed up and it worked out that way. I have a best bet in KBO. Goes in the morning, part of $9 Monday, going for 5 straight wins overall. And another KBO winner, it's been great so far this season and really for the last couple of years. So hopefully we'll, continue to cash tickets in this league. As far as the best bet for the show, the second best thing I see on the board today is Kiwoom to beat Doosan. I think it's minus 125, may have moved a little bit. Brandon and I also joke, and we kind of see eye to eye on this, that Kiwoom is just that they're just a mediocre team, which makes it tough for me to get to the window with like a client play on Kiwoom because they really just are very average. And in my opinion, they should be worse than they are. But I think it's like maybe time to acknowledge that they do find ways to win games. But that's not why I want to fade. This is more of a fade of Doosan. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out why they continue to run Young Ha Lee out as a starter. He's a guy that kind of had a breakout season as a 21-year-old in 2019 when Doosan won the whole thing. But that Doosan team was absolutely loaded. And ever since, he has been a complete disaster as a starting pitcher. Now, last year, Doosan moved him to the bullpen. He was their closer, and he was really good. And for whatever reason, here, this season comes back, and they've got him back in there as a starter, and he's got a 5.46 ERA and 1.72 WHIP. He's just terrible as a starter, and yet here we go again this week. They've got him right back out there starting against Kiwoom in this game. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and I think you can continue to fade Young Ha Lee as a starter as long as they're going to put him out there. Kiwoom, Tyler Epler, I feel like he's one of the import guys that just isn't getting any real talk or real respect, I guess you would say. You never really hear him mentioned, but he's actually been solid. 1.17 whip. He really only has had one bad start, and it was against SSG on the road. So I actually think I think you're getting a far better starter here. You could look Kiwoom first 5, but you could also look toward Kiwoom for the full game. They've got a bullpen ERA of 3.03 right now, which I believe is second best in the league entering play today. So even though I see reasons to maybe fade Kiwoom long-term, as far as like a spot play, I think, that's kind of short. Minus 125 Kiwoom to beat Doosan seems like a decent look for another potential bet on Tuesday's card.
So there you go. Kiwoom Heroes money line, best bet for Adam Trigger there. And ever since you said respect in terms to Epler there, I already saw Tokyo Brandon. Gears were turning. All he was hearing was Aretha Franklin after you said that. I knew it.
What it means to
I
me.
knew it. And that's going to do it for us, our KBO dancer. No other show has dancers here on WagerTalk TV other than the KBO show. That does it for us. Again, huge thanks for tuning in. Check out these guys. Have plays loaded right this second for $9 Monday. We also have a new page, wt.buzz/deals. Always be checking back to that as well for some potential great money-saving opportunities. And as far as the show goes, make sure you like, comment below, let us know what you're looking for in KBO and Japanese baseball action. Hit that subscribe so you never miss a show. And that does it for Adam Trigger, for Tokyo Brandon, for myself, Dan Alexander. We'll see you Thursday on the KBO show.
How long are they going to leave it up?
I think we're good, guys. All right, guys.
Okay.
Have a
Thanks,
good night.
guys.
Good luck.
Take it easy.
Are we yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think we're still up the $3.
Stop. Don't buy that Pix package or All Access. Wait, what? Yep, don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.